It's some hours later when Douglas finally pries open his eyes and emits a soft groan. "Where are we?" he says, and hopes for a response. He's infinitely relieved when he hears Oliver's voice next to him. Some scrapyard on the border of BR and NWR. That's what Driver said, anyway. Douglas closes his eyes in the bright daylight. "I'm sorry." Oliver cuts his eyes to the Scottish engine beside him. "It's not your fault, Doug. I'm the one who broke down, remember?" "Aye, and I'm the one who stopped in the middle of the station," Douglas points out. Oliver snorts. "You were out of coal and could barely breathe. What were you supposed to do? Run on air?" "I should have done more than I did. I should have protected us. You brought me with you, and look where it got you," Douglas replies. "You tried. That second engine cornered us," Oliver exclaims. "And don't you dare go saying we should have left you behind. We would never have made it this far without you." Douglas smirks a bit. "My tender, you mean?" Oliver splutters. "Yes, well, that. But then who would have picked up when I broke down, huh? Without you, we would have just sat there until we were caught." "Aye," Douglas agrees, "but we got caught anyway. I failed you, just as I failed my crew, and Donnie, and—" No, Oliver interrupts. "No, that's not true. You haven't failed anyone. Do you really think your brother, your twin, sees you as a failure?" "Well, no, he sees me as dead," says Douglas. Oliver grins. "Yes, he probably does. But soon he'll see otherwise." "How exactly? We're stuck in a scrapyard, Oliver. Again," Douglas groans. "A scrapyard where, exactly?" Oliver presses, all the while sporting that knowing smirk. He pauses. "The terminus of British rails at the North Western Railway." Oliver grins. I rest my case. It's after dark by the time Oliver's crew return. They hadn't found any coal, but they had found a friendly signalman, all for saving steamers. The two men told them the good news. "There's an engine from Sodor due in tonight with a goods train," the driver explains. "The signalman will see that it's sent through here. We just need to get its attention when it comes." It's fairly straightforward in the end. Oliver's crew scrounge up some burning material and then they wait. It's after midnight by the time the light of an engine's headlamp flickers over the scrapyard and the familiar chuffing of a steam engine is heard in the distance. "Someone's coming," Oliver whispers. Douglas, sound asleep beside him after the trials of the day, doesn't respond. Oliver's crew shoves the last of the sticks into his firebox and peer out. Oliver waits with bated breath as the other engine rolls closer, having slowed to a crawl. He can hear its coupling chains rattling, as if it were trembling. Is it afraid? Oliver bites his lip and, just as the other engine is passing by, hisses steam. The engine, a tender engine he can see now, jerks to a stop, brakes squealing. What was that? It speaks in that same thick Scottish burr as Douglas. "Are you a Fat Controller's engine?" Oliver responds in a hush. "Aye, and you?" Oliver explains their situation, quick and simple. The other engine agrees readily to help them and pulls on to the adjacent line so he's directly in front of Oliver. When he does, his lamp illuminates the small shed they've been left in, and Oliver has to do a double take. The engine in front of him is, in every way, identical to Douglas, Wake up, you lazy tender. This guy looks exactly like you. Oliver hollers, unable to hold back his excitement. Huh? Douglas moans and pries open his eyes. Dinna yell, laddie. What's that light? He adds, and snaps his eyes shut again. Oliver rolls his eyes. Doug, wake up! We found him! Dougie? The other engine gasps, a broken whisper in a rugged accent thick with old aching grief. He switches lines again, this time so he's in front of his long-lost brother. Douglas opens his eyes fully now and stares. Donnie? He says, tone so similar to that of his brother. Suddenly, the twins are buffer to buffer, with Douglas pressed back against the buffers behind him. There are hot tears streaming down their faces, and at some point, their voices meld into a dying tongue, a language of mountains and glens and rugged seas that Oliver can't begin to understand. It doesn't matter, though, because they're home. Douglas, against the odds, has found his brother. Oliver and Toad have escaped Scrap and with him, and Donald is back with his beloved twin.